It's certainly booming, probably booming a little too much. So, the government had to put the brakes on it a little bit. So they cut back on the number of study permits for this year, which is making a difference to the universities and colleges. It's going to affect their budgets. But I think what happened was COVID. A lot of business owners were complaining, "Hey, we got no staff. You got to ramp up the numbers of temporary foreign workers, particularly." And so the floodgates open, and now they realize, well, they opened them a bit a bit too much, so they're cutting back, which they should be doing. So we'll see what happens. The government, I think, before the end of the month, will release its permanent residence numbers estimates for the next 3 years. Right now, they're sitting at around 500,000, so that may go down a little bit. We'll have to wait and see.
What effect has immigration had on housing availability and affordability?
Large numbers of immigrants will have some effect, but certainly not, they're not the main cause. I don't think. Um, Housing supply hasn't kept up with demand for years now, and the cost of the average home is out of reach for a lot of people. So governments, municipalities, developers, they've got a lot of work to do. We need more apartments. We need more row houses. Semis. The, make it affordable for people. We don't need $1 million homes.
Immigration has been a hot topic of discussion and debate south of the border. There are 2 weeks to go until the United States election. Has campaign rhetoric negatively affected the public perception of immigration in Canada?
They do have a problem with the border with Mexico, but it seems to be a lot more under control now than what it was before. But he ramps up the like people eating cats and dogs, and I mean, it's just stupid. Like what comes out of his mouth. So he's not helping. But I think generally people are in favor of immigration, but in the United States, lower numbers. And that's what we're seeing in Canada too now. People are still in favor of immigration, but they say lower the numbers a bit.
Curry shares his thoughts on how immigration has benefited North Bay.
Like you see it everywhere you go. you know, like I've lived here since 1978, and there was zero diversity in this town except for First Nations people when I moved here. Now you see it everywhere. You see it in the stores, you see it on the streets, see it on transit particularly. Um, and people are starting businesses, those who have been here a little bit longer. Last time we actually did a check on that was when I was with the Multicultural Center. It would have been about 2015, so that's 9 years ago. We counted, just our whole staff of businesses we knew that were immigrant owned, and it was like 110 at that time. So I'm sure the number has increased since then. So they are starting businesses, employing people. Um, I meet in my practice a lot of professionals, accountants, financial people, healthcare people, a lot of healthcare people, and everybody knows the problems we're having in healthcare. So the more registered nurses we get, they end up starting as PSWs until they get their Ontario accreditation. But then they, within a couple of years, they become a registered nurse, which is what they were in their home country, and that's got to benefit everybody. Because I'm a baby boomer, I may need their help one of these days, and there aren't enough Canadians doing it.